So we all know that Michigan's roads are really bad. A task force says the state needs $4 billion more just to maintain our infrastructure here. How should Michigan pay to fix roads, bridges, and water systems?
Well, we need to invest. There is two different approaches. Bill Schuette would want to eliminate the income tax, and he would want to cut and put us on an austerity program. And such an approach will not work, has not worked in other states like Kansas and Mississippi. The other approach really is to invest. And if you see most prosperous states do invest in infrastructure, they invest in education. A dollar invested today can give us $4, $5, $6 return down the road. And so we need to have a leadership that is committed to investing into our infrastructure. We talked about a 30-year, $30 billion statewide municipal bond that would be serviced by the corporate graduated income tax on ultra-rich and corporations. So we would also minimize any tax incentives, tax gives away to big corporations. And some of that we will have over $500 million of savings. We would have some savings from our prison reform. And that would also be used for servicing the 30-year bond. So my focus is going to be on investment in our state. We cannot take our state to prosperity. We cannot take our state to the top 10 without investing in our state. And the austerity program that's proposed by Bill Schuette and the Republicans will not work. And such programs have not worked elsewhere. And we will, if we have a Republican administration over the next 8 years, all we would see is that our roads will get bad even further. We need to replace the lead lines, not only in Flint but all across Michigan. We need to have broadband internet in northern Michigan. We need to work on mass transportation in Detroit. So there is a lot of investment we need to make in our state to encourage others to move into our state. We need to increase the population and revenue base of our state, and it can only happen if people, our new graduates, stay in Michigan. Other people come into our state. We have a beautiful state. We have great natural resources. If we can couple that with good infrastructure and great education, families will stay in Michigan. Families will move into Michigan. That will raise our revenue base. Having a good education and skilled workforce and a good infrastructure, businesses will move in. So this approach that Republicans have used to just give away money to get businesses to come in and set up a shop is a band-aid solution that will not work on a long-term basis. We got to invest. We got to take our education to the next level. We got to take our infrastructure to the next level. And that's the kind of a big idea, big future governorship I would offer to the state of Michigan.
Okay, before we move on to your next question, Riley, Sandy's got a follow-up.
I'm just interested, you've mentioned taxes on the ultra-rich and rich a few times now as a basis of economics, really. I'm wondering if you could tell us what income or wealth number is there and how that translates into dollars in the state budget. What's the kind of the multiplier on the increase of taxes and what it means
we
for
would
state
start
revenue?
a slight increase in the taxes at about $200,000 to $300,000 a year
Household
income, and then we'll gradually raise that up. So I would and my family would end up paying more taxes than we are currently paying. But I think this is an investment we make in our state. And without this kind of investment, we're not going to take our state to the next level.
I have a quick follow-up to that before we get to the Flint stuff. You talked about broadband internet access, replacing lead lines, free college for a lot of folks, replacing the roads, universal pre-K, universal childcare, and I assume we're going to talk about healthcare at some point. Have you done the math on how does this, can you give us some specific numbers about how much do you think these programs are going to cost? And, you've talked about what you said, increasing taxes on the ultra-rich, prison reform, stopping some business subsidies. Can you give us some specific numbers on how that would balance out?
Sure. So there is, Snyder taxed the pensions and gave $1.8 billion corporate tax break when he first came to Lansing. So having run businesses over the last 26 years, what businesses are looking for is good infrastructure, a skilled workforce, not a little bit of a tax break. And so I would reverse a lot of that. Will probably generate somewhere between $2 and $4 billion from corporate taxes. We will certainly save at a minimum $500 million from minimizing corporate giveaways as far as tax incentives. We will, from prison reform, we would save somewhere between $250 million to $500 million. So we would have a substantial saving. We will have the money coming from the municipal bond, and we would gradually increase. And as we invest in our state and as our economy prospers and as we collect more revenues, more money would be available to add. So this will happen over the next 8 years in a gradual manner as we raise our revenues, as we cut down some of the spending. It's going to be a combination of some additional tax revenues as well as some savings in terms of how we spend our dollars.